love food without overeating. Who knew that? If you're in my program right now and you've experienced, wow, I didn't know I could enjoy food for comfort without overeating, let me know. Did you know that? Did you know you can actually do that? Yes, of course you can. I want you to make this distinction because this is going to be a really good belief for you going into Christmas, right? You can comfort eat. That means eating nice, tasty food that maybe you normally wouldn't eat on a normal day. But that doesn't have to become overeating. Your goal this Christmas is to not go into it and eat chicken and broccoli over the entire Christmas period. It's not that. It's to just know the difference between, right, how can I enjoy food to the fullest and be like, wow, I've enjoyed all the flavours, all the textures. I feel like I haven't missed out on anything. But I know when my head hits the pillow on Christmas night, I didn't overeat. That is possible. This black and white way of thinking that many people who struggle with their eating habits have had from years of diet culture. Yeah, I'm thinking about writing a new book, right? Slim and World Trauma, right? It'll not actually be called that, but I honestly believe people have like diet trauma from like years and years and years of dieting and all the ways that that's messed up their mindset around food. I totally believe that. Some people think that you either have to be just completely gorging yourself on unlimited amounts of food or you're on a diet. Like many people have that all or nothing perspective. There is no in between. I want to tell you that there is a middle ground. There is a safe zone, so to speak, in the middle of all or nothing. It's possible that you can enjoy food without overeating. So, how do you do that? Well, I'm going to break it down for you. So, are you planning on having a good Christmas? I told you I got carried away with the slides. There's us at the last event. Who can I see? I can see Sonia hiding behind the Christmas stuff. There's Jackie at the back. There's Deb. There's Anne. There's Paula. I believe that's you, Jane. I think there's Joe. There's Sandra. Who else we got? There's Kath. I think that might be Emma. Yeah. And there's Santa. Forgot about him. Yeah. Are you planning on having a good Christmas? Yes, I know. Type in the box. You're planning on having a good Christmas. I am. I certainly am. Who else is planning on having a good Christmas? Cindy's. She's having a good Christmas. Jane's planning on having a good Christmas. So is Emma. Amazing. Right. Funny thing with planning to have a good Christmas means you need to have a plan. You actually need to have a plan. Not just a hope. A hope is not a plan. A strategy is a plan. So what I'm trying to give you right now is a Christmas strategy. So if you are planning on having a good Christmas, you want a good Christmas, you hope that you enjoy it, you hope that you don't slip into depression, shame, anger, guilt, overwhelm, feeling like a sack of spuds that's been left under the cupboard too long on January 1st, becoming the pig in blanket instead of just eating them. If you're planning on having a good Christmas, then you need a plan. You need an actual strategy. So that's what we're going to look at. Yeah, there's me and Joe at the last event. There's Santa popping around the corner. Do you remember Santa being there, Joe? He must have been, because that's the photo that I got on my phone after we had a photo together at the event. He must have been there. Okay, so what should you do then to create an actual plan this Christmas? My advice is actually sit down and go through your calendar, go through your actual December. So number one, plan your time in advance. Yeah, plan your time to enjoy yourself in advance. So that might be from now until like New Year's Day or whatever. You sit down and go, right, well, what days do I know that I'm going to be like enjoying myself? And that could be food, that could be drink, that could be certain social occasions that you normally wouldn't do. Let's be honest, most of us will probably have 2 or 3 little things a month on the typical month of like, July, August or whatever. A couple of birthdays, maybe 1 or 2 little treats, but really we don't have more than 3 or 4. Well, in Christmas, we've got 3 and 4 in like 3 or 4 days. And then we've got work Christmas parties. Then we've got nativity plays. And we've got New Year's. And we've got New Year's Day. Then bank holidays, depending on where the Christmas fall. It's not out the realms of possibility that we can have like maybe double or triple what we normally would a normal month. And many people will use this as that all or nothing excuse of, well, I've got loads of social occasions. So you know what? it's just a free for all. You definitely don't want to do that. But you also don't want to go into it not knowing when you're going to have fun. So actually plan your time in advance. Sit down in advance, and we'll do it together in a second, and go, right, what days do I know I'm going to be overindulgent a bit? What days do I know I'm going to be sneaking a mince pie in? Ooh, there's me and Sandra. The Grinch is there as well. So I've got a saying, if you're on my program, you'll hear us say this a lot. Data over drama. So many people are stuck in drama when it comes to their eating habits over December. But if we actually look at the data, and here's a way you can break it down, in my opinion, it just takes the pressure off immediately. So one of my most important strategies that I do personally is this. So there's 31 days in December, right? I've got some fast maths for you here. There's 5 days over the Christmas period, right? So that's what? Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. So there's already 5 in the diary that we know we're probably going to be doing stuff, eating more stuff than we normally do, right? Now, add on extras like, well, I like to meet up with my friends on the 23rd and we'll have a Christmas lunch or a brunch or something. And then I've got a night out with the girls and I've got a works Christmas party, then I've got a whatever. Okay. Add all them up as well. So I want you from now, from today, get a pen and paper out if you can. What's the date today? The 15th? So all the way up until the 31st. So I believe that's what, 16 days? Get clear of how many days you have occasions on where you know you're going to be eating something or maybe drinking something that you normally wouldn't do. Let's get clear of that number. If we do 1 out of 31, that is 3.3%, right? 3.3%. So 5 out of 31 is 16%. So if we're just overindulging on food on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, Boxing Day, which I know for a fact I will be, I'm eating all the Christmas food on those days, and I don't care. I still know that that's only 16% of my month. That's 16% of my month. I like those odds. I've got 84% where I pretty much got an opportunity to do what I want, to eat what I want and still have my normal routine. That's not a month write-off, is it? Now, if you have more than just those 5 days, right, well, add a day on. Get clear of the day. So who off the top of their head can work out that number now? It's my sister's birthday on the 23rd. I will definitely be having some cake on that day. I believe I'm going out with my grandma for coffee on the 27th. I'll probably get some food as well. You know what I mean? So there's 7. 6, 7. Get clear of that number because that puts it into perspective, doesn't it? It's not like, oh my God, December's going to be crazy. It's going to be 6 days of, yeah, I'm just going to have to accept I'm not going to hit my calories that day. And I'm not going to be on a diet. I'm not going to exercise. I'm just enjoying the actual days. Right. So we've got some numbers now. Great. Data over drama. Straight away, if you think about it like this, you can almost feel the pressure coming off. It's like, right, it's 5 days. It's 6 days. People have convinced themselves from December 1st. That's it. Nothing I can do. Absolutely no point in even trying. You don't have to be that. Think of the damage that you could do in that time. Even if you really push the boat out over 4, 5, 6 days, that's going to be a hell of a lot less damage come January 1st than an entire month, isn't it? So those numbers, between 5, 7, 6, something like that, get your percentage. So if 1 represents 3.3, I'm not going to do the maths for you, but you can figure it out. So 5 would be 16%. So if you just had those 5 days, December, you still had 84% available, where you could literally be in a deficit. 25 days, you could have been in a deficit. So the first thing I wanted to do is just get you to remind yourself, Christmas doesn't have to be as extreme as you think. That actually helps me on a personal level know that, yeah, I'm going to push the boat out in those 5 days or those 6 days, and I'm not going to be feeling guilt or shame at all because I know it's not 31 days, it's 5 or 6. But if you convince yourself because you don't know the data, you'll go into drama mode. Oh, I'm going to be eating loads. There's absolutely no point. Some people would have already written off December and they would have already been overeating as if it was Christmas Day since bloody September. Someone tried to join my or asked about my program in September. Oh, sounds brilliant, Sam. I'm going to get back in touch with you in January. I was like, yeah, no problem. Just read my book in the meantime. And I know why people say that. Because they're like, well, how much weight could I really lose in 3 months? I've got Christmas coming up, so there's only 2 for a start. I might as well wait. You're just delaying your life. That's all you're doing. Again, it's that all or nothing mindset is what fuels emotional eating more than anything. That fuels it more than anything. Like, you're going to have certain triggers or certain responses, right? That could be linked to more complex things such as past traumas and things like that, which if you've read the book, you know all about, right? But the first thing I'm looking at for the people I'm working with are just people in general. It's like, can we just get rid of all the preventable triggers? All the stuff that's just on the surface, that's actually not that deep and just all around overwhelm and overthinking and the all or nothing mindset and false beliefs and pressure and stress, all self-created, by the way. So if you've got your number, great. I want you to hold on to that number. I want you to keep it. I want you to keep it because that'll help you. And remember, if you find yourself freaking out, even on Christmas Day or New Year's Day or whatever, you think, oh God, I've got a boxing thing coming up and I've already ate loads yesterday. Okay, remember what I said. Data over drama. Remember what Sam told me. What's my number? I write it down. Right. It's 16% of the month. It's 20% of the month. Right. I like those odds. Data over drama, guys. If you get lost in drama, you're more likely to be impulsive. You're more likely to make choices that you normally wouldn't. You're more likely to get stressed. It's not good. So keep remembering that. Before I get into other stuff, I wanted to make that point. Data over drama. Get clear of the actual data. Yeah? Okay, fantastic. Moving on then. Oh, there's me and Sind. I didn't see that snowman there when you took the photo, Sind. Thought it was a bit chilly. What else should you do? Give yourself permission to eat or drink for pleasure on those days. So if you got clear of those days, for me it's what, 5 or 6? Like I said, I'm eating. I'm not drinking. I don't drink alcohol, but I'm eating. I'm definitely eating. I remember last year on the 27th, I had some like chocolates left, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna eat them because tomorrow I'm not. I can't remember what day it was on, but I know the 28th, the gym was back open. I had a normal work day. I answered all my messages, caught up on my emails. I was actually feeling really excited for the new year, and I just kind of got right back into it. Then on New Year's Eve, I kind of had a few little treats. I got a takeaway on New Year's Day as well. So I had 3 days around the Christmas where I definitely ate more than I normally would. And I was just like, right, I'm just going to give myself permission. No guilt, no shame, no beating myself up because I was aware of the data. So don't just get clear of that number. Actually give yourself permission in advance now to say, I am going to eat more than I normally would. Now, the things I'll teach you about soon, I'll talk about soon, will definitely allow you to practice the art of moderation. Giving yourself permission doesn't mean, oh, well, Sam said I've got 5 days, so that means I can do 5 days of binge eating. I'm not saying that because I've ruined Christmas before doing that. I don't know if you've ever been sick out of your nose before because you've ate too much cheese on Christmas night, but that's not a pretty experience. I don't really like cheese anymore. I like it on food, but I wouldn't just sit and eat cheese for that reason. Totally put me off it. Cheese and crackers, not for me. So I overdid it. Not good. So me saying give yourself permission isn't like, right, those are the days I can binge in. It's not that. It's just a belief of I will be eating more on those days and that is okay. I will be eating and drinking more on those days and that is okay because it's only X amount of percent of my month and that's all right. I like those odds. Yeah. What else should you do? Oh, there's me, Jane, and Kath. I didn't notice Rudolph there as well either, did you? And who put them hats on with? Got no idea who done that. Little tip from me. You'll feel better as well. Move your body as much as you can in that Christmas period, even from now. The week between Christmas and New Year as well. If you've indulged a little bit, maybe you want to put that food to extra work. Maybe if you attend the gym, you might want to get back to the gym in between Christmas and New Year instead of waiting until January. Or maybe you just want to get out on some nice Christmas walks. I'm telling you now, the time where people often do the damage is not Christmas Day or Christmas Eve or anything like that. It's the 27th until New Year's. Because it's almost like, oh, now what? I don't know. And they just sit in the house and overeat. If you're going to overindulge, which I am, you better believe I'm getting out on the dog walks. I'm going to the gym in the days that they're open. If I'm not injured, I'll probably might be at that point. But I'm going to put that to extra use. So a little bit of weight to just offset the guilt. It's like one belief in another. It's saying, I am going to overindulge. I accept that because it's only X amount percent of the month. It's not the entire month. It's not the entire year. It's that, right? When I zone out a little bit, it ain't that bad. But just to help you work through that and give yourself permission, do something with your body on the days outside of it. And I've added without it impacting the festivities or feeling like a chore. Now, that doesn't mean like if your mom or dad asks you out for a Christmas coffee, like, oh, no, I can't. I said I would go to the gym. Like, be willing to be a bit flexible, right? Don't be that extreme. But if you're like, right, I've not got anything on today, it's the 27th, I'm not seeing family till New Year's, right? Let's go out and get a nice walk. Let's drive to a national trust park or something, or a nature reserve, or a woodland, or drive to the beach, or just a nice walk. Let's go out for a couple of hours. Let's go and get a Christmas coffee, meet my best friend, walk the dogs, have a chin wag, tell about all the great stuff we got on over Christmas. But let's actually get out and move, right? Because movement is one of the fastest ways to regulate your emotions. Emotions mean energy in motion, emotion. A lot of people get lonely over Christmas. It has become quite stressful. There's family conflicts. Believe me, I know all about that. Getting yourself out for a nice walk or just some movement in general can just help you get rid of any of that restless energy. If you're sitting there and you feel restless and you feel anxious and you feel stressed, taking the emotional reasons as to why out of it, physically, from a physiological level, that's energy with nowhere to go. Otherwise, you wouldn't be feeling it. So go and use that energy. Potter on, do some chores, tidy up in the house, have a declutter, go out for a walk, go and get your Christmas shopping and just go to the town, buy some clothes. Just basically move your body as much as you can in a way that doesn't impact the festivities or it feeling like a chore. And if you're like, Sam, I don't want to go to the gym that week, I'm going to go back in January. Fine. Just don't sit in the house for 5 days doing nothing. It will help. And even if it is the 27th or the 28th, and you're like, oh, I've got a box of heroes left, and oh, maybe you know what, I'm going to eat them because there's one left, and so what? It's the week over Christmas, not the end of the world. I'm going to feel a hell of a lot better tucking that box of heroes if I know I've moved my body that day. If I know I've went outside, if I've at least burned a few good 100 calories off moving around, there's going to be less guilt, isn't there? So move your body as much as you can without it impacting the festivities or feeling like a chore. It'll help with digestion. It'll help with the removal of leftover energy. And you'll be able to get away with, not that it's about this, but you'll be able to get away with a little bit of overeating. I never weigh in more than I am over Christmas. I don't even weigh myself, but I know for a fact I don't gain any unwanted body fat because I still like to keep my body moving, even though I indulge. It's a maths equation. The more you move your body, the more calories you've burned. So if you are going to overindulge that week, kind of making sense. It's like putting armor on and going into battle, right? Don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to go into battle without any armor. So stop sharing. But there's me and Deb. I didn't know there was presents and grapes and a Christmas tree there, Deb. Come on. What else should you do? Have a loose routine which gives you a sense of accomplishment. So I mentioned about movement before. It doesn't just have to be movement. Basically, pottering on, keeping busy, having a loose routine that gives you a sense of accomplishment will allow you to eat better. Why would that be? Again, back to the question I said at the start of the workshop. I said, who here put their hand up or say yes in the chat box has been depressed in January because you just sat in the house, did nothing and overate for weeks on end. It's like too much of a good thing can become a bad thing. Food, you actually lose your ability to have pleasure with food when you overeat it because then it just becomes the norm. It's more about eating to escape pain than it is about pleasure. Eating for pleasure means it has to be done little and often. Frequently, but in moderation. When it's just done like, I've had 7 takeaways in a row. I've had 6 boxes of heroes in the last 3 days. You're eating it and you're not even getting the enjoyment on it with it anymore. You're not enjoying it. So if you want to actually enjoy food, make Christmas about enjoying it for the experience and the food will just be an afterthought. So have a loose routine which gives you a sense of accomplishment. That literally could be, like I say, who did I go out and see? What did I get up to? What family did I get the chance to see? What conversations did I have? While I was off work and I was kind of waiting between Christmas and New Year to have the New Year's and then go back to work, I had time on my hands. Maybe I did a declutter. I got the house ready for January. Maybe I started my January goals early. If you're on my program, maybe you watch a load of content and actually catch up on some learning that you weren't able to do during December because you were so busy with nativity plays and school plays and work routines and work parties and all the stuff that goes on in December. December's a pretty hectic month. So just use that week, that no man's land between Christmas and New Year to have a bit of a loose routine. Not like you've got to wake up and have a military operation for every hour. Your loose routine might be like, right, I like to get up in the morning and do something productive. Because it gets dark at 3, 4 o'clock, I want to be in the house watching Christmas movies and eating a bit of the leftover Christmas food. But by then, I'm going to make sure I've done my steps, I've done some content, I've read a book, I've went out and done my shopping, I've met a friend for coffee. I've at least done something that gives me a sense of accomplishment. So if I do settle down and maybe indulge in a bit extra food, I don't feel as guilty. Have a loose routine, not just a free-for-all. Because I've been there myself. Christmas between New Year, the 27th to the 30th, it's a brutal time if you don't have at least a loose routine. Because it does feel like your life's on hold, you're just sitting in the house, just waiting around. More impulsive eating happens during that time, in my opinion, than Christmas Day. So have a routine, a loose one, not a crazy one. You're still off work and you want to relax. It's pitch black at 4 p.m. anyway, so realistically, you can only have half a day. But have a sort of a routine. It will help, I promise you. The more you can get your teeth into your routine, the less you'll get your teeth into too much food. All right? I'm going to come back to the chat box soon, guys, okay? Okay, what else should you do? These are all simple stuff. I'm not saying anything out of the ordinary here. Oh, there's me, Ruth, Pamela, Susan, Jane, Karen, and Elka looking at little baby Jesus at the last event. I did tell you I got a bit carried away with the slides. I turned one photo into one thing, then I had to do all of them. I spent about 2 hours on this, by the way. It's worth it. I mentioned it before. Make it about Christmas and not the food. I mentioned it right at the start. The world's very paradoxical in nature. Our mind is very paradoxical. Meaning that the more we tell ourselves not to focus on something, in this case, right, I'm not going to think about food. I'm going to be good. I'm not going to overeat. The more likely you are to do that. So if you're already going into Christmas worried about how much you are going to eat, you're probably going to eat too much and you're going to feel guilty. And whatever happens as a result of that, well, might not be great, okay? I want you guys to enjoy the food, not feel like you've missed out on Christmas, but still know that, hey, I'm waking up on January 1st and I'm like motivated, I'm ready to go. I know I've overrated a little bit the last couple of weeks, but so what? Because I applied the art of moderation. One way that you're definitely going to do that is if you make it about the people, the conversations, the connections, the other fun stuff. If you're just making it about the food, I give this advice to my clients when they go on holiday as well. And I might say, oh, where are you going on holiday? You're like, oh, I'm going here, I'm going there. I'm like, have you got any plans? Yeah, we're going to do this day trip. I'm going to swim in the pool, or they've got dance classes on in the pool, or maybe there's like this thing to do. There's this trip, this excursion. Great. You're making it about the experience now. You're making it about the culture. You're making it about all the things that you can do on holiday that you can't do when you're at work back home. And they come back and like, yes, Sam, I enjoyed my holiday, but I didn't overeat at all. Food was just like something nice that was there. It wasn't the main focus. Where I've been on a holiday before where it's been like, right, buffet 3 times a day, let's go. And I felt miserable. Didn't feel confident enough to take my shirt off at the pool, which is the very reason you pay all that money to go on holiday. What the hell are you doing? Because you made it all about the food. Whether it's like thinking about the food and like, oh, I can't wait to eat it way, or it's thinking about the food and, oh, I shouldn't be thinking about the food. It's still focusing on the food. Like if I said, don't think of pink elephants right now, what have you just thought of? Pink elephants. It's what the brain does. So whether you try and not think about something or you think about something, you get the same effect. You're thinking about it. So I want you to get a clear of not just your routine and your plan, but a bit of a mental plan about, right, what do I want to experience from this Christmas? What am I going to make this about? And even if that's right, I'm like spending most of it on my own because I don't see my family or whatever, I get it. I'm going to use it for good. I'm going to focus on things that I normally wouldn't get the chance to do if I was at work or if I was busy. Like between the Christmas and New Year, like I can't even tell you guys who are on the program. Like I say, the journal's coming out. I've got the new membership area that's being built. That's going to be making it way easier for you to access all content. I'm not going to spoil too much, but it's going to be fantastic. I have some free courses in there for people as well who want to join. It's going to be fantastic. Proper online community. I've got some time to build that properly between the Christmas and New Year that I normally wouldn't when I'm working coaching for 40 hours a week. So you better believe I'm getting my teeth stuck into some of that. So maybe you've got some things that you're like, well, I've got that Christmas period, but I can make it about so many other things. Think of the people I can see. Think of the places I can go. Think of the activities that I can do. Try and make it more than just the Christmas food. And you'll find that food just slots in effortlessly. Whereas if you don't make it about anything else about the Christmas and it's just about, oh, I hope I stay on a diet, I hope I don't eat too much, you've kind of already failed. You'll notice tonight, and I'm not saying don't eat the food. I'm saying eat the food, but I'm saying go into it with a different mindset, with a different attitude. And if you're on my program, you'll know you get better results with your relationship with food the less you think about food. That's the weird thing. I found that strange as well when I was on my own journey, but it was true. The more I obsessed over food, the more it seemed to control me. The less I obsessed over food by getting my teeth into other areas of my life that actually brought me joy and fulfillment, which ironically enough, the reason you overeat is because you're finding joy and fulfillment from it, because you're not getting it from anywhere else. So get joy and fulfillment about other things to do with Christmas than just the food. Does that make sense? Clarity kills confusion. So get clear on your routine so that you don't slip into chaotic eating. I can tell you right now, I'll be getting messages on January the 1st with people who were on this workshop and who followed me and said, Sam, I followed exactly what you said. I got clear of my number. I got clear of my routine. I focused on other ways to enjoy Christmas that wasn't just about the food. And I still ate the food and had a great time. And you know what? I felt amazing. And I'll have people who maybe weren't on this workshop or who don't follow the advice that I give them. They'll say, I just kind of hope for the best. And I just, by 27th, I was just already depressed and overwhelmed. And I just ate all the leftover food. I bought far too much. I spent the entire week feeling sorry for myself, watching Netflix, binge eating every day. And now I'm half a stone or a stone heavier. And I don't even want to do this anymore. That'll happen. It happens every year. So the clearer you can get on your routine, the clearer you can get on what you're actually going to do from a mindset perspective, from a physical perspective, everything in between, the better. The less chance food will have of taking hold of you. All right. So before I move into some other stuff, just mentioning more about the authentic eating, which is kind of what I've talked about today. Let's have a little look at this chat box. What's been your biggest take home so far, everyone? I'm curious to hear. Should have bought a drink and I haven't got one. Never mind. Let's have a look at this chat box. Yeah, so I can see people have got clear of their days. Vicky says, as well as Christmas, we have both our children's birthdays in December, but they're happy with the small sponge cake. One sitting and it's gone. There we go. Joe, I'm at work, so we'll have to keep popping off. Not a problem, Joe. Maria, love this logic. Hey, logic's my middle name. Sandra, luckily since I've been working with you, I'm overeating much less than before. Again, Sandra, fantastic stuff. Sarah Jane, a daily walk, even with 15 minutes, has such a big impact on my mental well-being. Keep doing it during the Christmas period then. It really help. Sandra says, biggest take-home, data over drama or figures over drama. Same stuff. What else? What else has been your biggest take-home, guys? Sind, creating clarity. Remember, clarity is the opposite of overwhelm. Yeah, I've got a training in the Limitless Vault somewhere. Like I said, I'm digging out all of my past trainings from the past 3 years and putting it into like a Netflix site for people to watch. Honestly, it's going to be fantastic. And I've got one, I believe, on like polar opposite of emotions. And I always remember that one. The opposite of overwhelm is clarity. It doesn't just go for food, it just goes for life in general. If you're ever overwhelmed, that means you're lacking clarity. You can't be overwhelmed and have clarity at the same time. What else, guys? What else has been your biggest take home from what I've said? All I've said is very simple stuff here. I haven't said anything crazy. Before we solve some of the deeper issues related to emotional eating, which, like I said, if you've read the book, you'll know how deep that goes. Before we do that, I want to get rid of stuff that's on the table already. The surface level stuff that's easy, the easy, quick wins. Joe, week between Christmas and New Year, have a plan. Absolutely. Becky, Sarah Jane, biggest take home, planning some activities to stop just Netflixing. There we go. So maybe it's like, I want to catch up on some Netflix stuff that I don't get the chance to do. But we know it's dark at 3, 4 p.m. So why don't you say, right, the last chunk of the day, I'm going to watch loads of Netflix. But I'm going to actually do something with my time that's productive, that I make myself feel accomplished. And when I do watch Netflix at 3, 4 o'clock for 5, 6 hours that I can't get the chance to do on a normal work day, I'll not feel as guilty. That's a good strategy. It's a simple one, but often so overlooked. Haley, going to try and do my 10,000 steps at the start of the day, feeling good. It then doesn't have to be 10,000, but just at least I've got some movement in. So the extra few things I'm going to indulge with, so what? I've kind of earned it. Vicky, it's empowering to be giving myself permission to enjoy, but ensure it's those 6 or 7 days. Yeah. You're more likely to actually adhere to it's just the 6 or 7 days by giving yourself full permission to overindulge on those 6 or 7 days. But if you go into it like I mentioned on an email the other day, I'm going to diet over Christmas. I genuinely believe this in 2017. I'm going to diet over Christmas. No sweets, no chocolate. I'll get my mum to put my dinner out and I'll just have the meat, the veg, no Yorkshire puddings or anything like that. And what did I do? By 4 p.m, I was secretly binge eating in my room, right? Because I felt stupid. And then sick cheese out my nose. Like, that was fun, wasn't it? So the more you give yourself permission, the less likely you are to overconsume. That's the irony. Sandra, this will be my first year without falling into the very cycle you've talked about in the past. Amazing. Once you know you can do that, this will set you up for every Christmas in the future. It really will. Sarah Jane, but I have a very bad habit of late nights, even though I know how rough I feel the next day. Any idea why? Avoidance, maybe? I think if you have no plan the next day during that Christmas period, where you can justify like staying up watching Netflix until 4, 5 p.m. or 5 a.m. rather. I've been there myself. Yeah. Yeah, but if you actually have that plan, like maybe you can make some commitments. Just subtle ones like, hey, do you want to text your best friend on the 27th, the day before, whatever? Do you want to meet up for coffee at 10 a.m. tomorrow? Yeah, that'll be great. I'll get you out of the house for Christmas. You're probably both being bombarded by family at that point. You want a little bit of a break from them, and I certainly do. Might be nice. So having a commitment, it gives you a reason to go to bed because you've got to be up for that. Whereas if it's just like, oh, I don't know, I'll do what I feel like tomorrow. That's not a plan. Remember I said have a plan. So have a loose plan. Meeting a friend for coffee at 10 a.m. gives you a loose plan. And then you might find yourself back in the house at 1 p.m. where you're like, wait, well, I've got out and done a walk and I've met a friend. I don't mind just chilling in the house for the rest of the night now. Fool. Just give yourself a plan. That'll help you with your adherence to a bedtime routine. There we go. Maria said, see your chat. You can enjoy food without overeating. You absolutely can. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. So you probably heard me talk about authentic eating a lot, right? Give me a yes in the chat box. Do you know what I mean by authentic eating? Finding your authentic eating rhythm. Talk about it in the book a lot. Yes. Good. For those that don't, let me explain it. So consider your food rhythm as these three things. When you eat, what you eat, and how you eat. When you eat, what you eat, and how you eat. So I'll give you an example. A normal day like today. It's a normal day, right? I normally would have exercised today. I haven't, but I did do a big dog walk. So that was my exercise for today because I've slightly tore the muscle in my pec and it's very, very sore. And I've got like a bruise under my armpit. Never mind. Get the tiny violin out here. Never mind. But a normal day for me would be this, an authentic rhythm for me. I don't feel hungry when I wake up. I actually quite like to let hunger naturally develop. And for me, it normally hits us about 11 o'clock. Normally by then I've trained. So I'd normally have something like a protein shake or a quick protein snack. I'd then do a second work block until about 1. Then I'd eat a lunch, right? So by 1 p.m., I haven't had breakfast at like 7 a.m. That doesn't work for me. But I've normally ate a snack about mid-morning and I've had lunch about 1 p.m., right? I then have another snack. Like before I came, I had this protein shake and I've got a banana skin and an orange skin there. Before the office, about 4:30, 5 o'clock, I had another snack, right? Then I'm going to have my main meal tonight when I finish. And then I always finish with a little snack before bed. So my rhythm, what works for me through trial and error, through cross-referencing when I like to eat, what I like to eat and how I like to eat, cross-referencing that with my time frame, when I'm working, when I'm exercising, what time I like to eat with my girlfriend on a night, what my appetite's like. I'm not hungry in the morning, so why would I eat? I'm hungry always on a night time, so I like to have my bigger portions then. So I cross-reference that with a rhythm that works for me. Yours might be different. And I teach my clients how to do this in the program. Find your own, and through trial and error, we'll establish what that is. That helps the overeating a lot when you know what your rhythm is, your authentic food rhythm. It's what's natural, what feels most natural to you. So when you eat, what you eat, and how you eat. So mine would be like 2 main meals, 3 snacks. That would be my rhythm. Now, on a Christmas, it's a little bit different. I don't have that sort of day. So what I would maybe say to myself is, right, if I'm thinking about my rhythm, I know Christmas dinner is going to be big, right? I like to naturally work up an appetite. I tend not to eat. We tend to have a Christmas dinner about 1:30, 2. Normally a little bit delayed. I think my mum dropped the gammon out the oven last year, so it was a little bit delayed, a little bit stressful as well. Anyways, but I like to work up an appetite. I want to be hungry when I sit down because I want to have a full meal. But then I know I'm not eating another meal the rest of the day, right? But I will indulge in some of the treats, some of the snacks. Quite like a little bit of a picky Christmas Eve as well. So let's say Christmas Day. To me, Christmas Eve is going to be a normal day. I'm going to have a normal breakfast. I'm going to have a normal lunch. But I'm going to have a little bit of a special Christmas Eve. I'm going to sleep at my girlfriend's that night. I'm going to watch Christmas films, probably have a hot chocolate, have a bit of a piggy tea. I'm talking about like deli meats and olives and crackers and, the little things you get, like little piggy Christmas tea, maybe prawns, like something like that. So what would I do? I would just say, right, well, this is what I'm going to eat. This is how I'm going to eat. This is what I'm going to eat. Okay. It can take you 30 seconds in your head to work that out. So based off, if you know what your routine is, you know what you're doing, you know where you're going. You know when you can eat around it. I think one of the worst things that people can do, let's say if it's not Christmas Day necessarily, let's say it's like Boxing Day, and you go and see family on Boxing Day and you have leftover Christmas food, okay? There's going to be things on offer, but that's going to be like 6 p.m. Wake up on Boxing Day and have a normal breakfast, have what you would normally have a normal lunch, and then overindulge on the extra Christmas food on Boxing Day, so you still have your rhythm. It's going to be completely different from your normal one, but you can just change it based off what your routine's going to be like and what you know you're already going to be overindulging in advance. So I know Christmas dinner for me is going to be like 2 meals in one, isn't it? So if you know what your rhythm is, normally when you have a normal day, think about what it is now. What would a normal day be based off appetite, when you get the chance to eat, when you like to eat, when you get hungry? Think about what your ratio would be, and then think about how do I alter that for the occasions that I've got. And you're not eating these occasions on top of what you already eat. You're eating them instead of. So if you think of it like that, it's not like, oh, this extra food, oh my God, it's thousands of calories worth of food from Christmas. Yeah, but you're not going to be having your normal lunch at work. You're not going to be having your protein shake snack. You're not going to be having your Greek yogurt before bed. Yes, you're eating extra food, but think about it's instead of the food you already eat. It's not on top of. It doesn't have to be on top of. So yeah, you're going to overeat a little bit, but it's not going to be thousands of calories. It doesn't have to be. So know what your rhythm is. So figure out what your rhythm is now. When do you like to eat now? What does that look like typically? How would that alter on the days that you've wrote down, the 5, 6 days, whatever your percentage is? And if you can go into it with a little bit of a plan, it'll just take away that noise about, oh, should I be eating this? Oh, shouldn't I be eating this? You'll know. Yes, I am eating this. So I'm not eating that as well. That really helps with food overwhelm, food noise around Christmas, knowing what your rhythm is. Now, this isn't me saying that you can get to that and be like, well, Sam, I had the rhythm there and I knew what I was doing and I still overindulged. Okay, right, I get it. But at least knowing, right, I'm having this meal because I'm not having that one later on. So yeah, I'm giving myself permission. And also when you go to get back on track during those in-between days, get right back to your usual rhythm because it'll help. Don't stop eating normal food during the Christmas week. That's another mistake people make as well. But, oh, Sam, I ate way too much chocolate. I'm like, okay, well, what did you eat that day? Well, nothing. I just restricted because I overate yesterday on Christmas Day, so I didn't have nothing to eat on Boxing Day. And then it got to like 6 p.m. and I just had like all the chocolate. I'm like, well, still have proper food, still eat normal meals, but just slip and insert those social occasions in on those days, slip them in, slip them out. So know what your rhythm is. I'll come back to the chat at the end, all right? Know what your rhythm is. When you eat, what you eat, how you eat. This goes for after Christmas as well. The flow state, right? Many clients tell me if you're a client of mine and you've experienced the flow state, right? This is when you're on holiday and you enjoy the food and you don't feel guilty whatsoever, and you come back and you're not even bothered. You haven't gained weight, you haven't lost weight, you're not bothered. You're just like, yeah, I've enjoyed it and I'm right back in the game. If you've been to a social occasion, you fully enjoyed the food, no guilt, no shame, no nothing, you'll know what this flow state feels like. It's very liberating. It's where you've got zero food focus. It's when you eat when the body needs to. You might even say, wow, I left some on my plate. I can't remember who checked in with me last week, but they said, like, for the first time ever, they went out on a lunch for like a work lunch, and they were a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious, but they remembered what I said. They had a plan in place. They rehearsed it. They've been practicing with me for months now. The serving size come out. I can't remember who it was. They might be on this call. It was really big, but they didn't feel compelled to finish it. I think it was one of my clients who's not on the call, actually. And they were like, I just enjoyed it for what it is. I enjoyed the taste, but then I knew when I had enough. I felt it in my body. I was very present, and I just stopped. So eating when the body needs to. Be slow with the eating this Christmas is one of the best things I can do. In order to enter the slow state, the flow state, be slow. Even when you're eating your chocolates, peel them slowly. Put them in your mouth. Don't crunch them. Let them melt on your tongue. Really experience the flavors. Swallow it. Pause. How does that feel? This is what authentic eating is. I'm way better than I used to be. Even with normal meals, I eat very fast, always did. If I go out for a meal, I don't want to be disappointed. And sometimes I used to be, back in my younger days. I'd be eating a meal, finish it, and my girlfriend's still on a starter, and I'm like, can we go? I'm like, I've just wolfed it down, why would I do that? Put your knife and fork down, have conversation in between bites. When you've had half your meal, put your knife and fork down and just for 5 seconds, just look at it and think, right, there's half of the meal on the plate. Do I feel half full? Could I eat the other half? No, I actually feel quite full. I think I'm going to manage another quarter and I'm going to finish it. That's the flow state. You are just completely present in the moment, right? This is the tantric sex of eating, right? If you know what tantric sex is, going a bit crazy there. Kama Sutra and all that sort of stuff. Just the art of being present, right? Not rushing it, taking your time. This is the tantric sex of eating, all right? Other elements of the flow state. Eating when your body needs to, like I said, being very aware of hunger, fullness symptoms, fits your schedule. That's your flow state, like with the rhythm that I mentioned before. There's zero need for binging because you're able to know when you're eating, what you're eating, how you're eating. A big reason why people emotionally eat or binge eat as well is because they don't eat properly throughout the day. Then they can't sustain that hunger and that impulsivity on a night time. There's no rigid approach. You'll know if you work with me one-to-one. The way that I say to diet is structured with your rhythm and when and how and what you are eating in terms of the time blocks and things, but flexible with the choices. Flexible with the choices. Think of how many healthy meal combinations you can make from just putting some protein on your plate, putting some vegetables, putting your seasons or your sauces or your flavorings, putting your carbs, following that eat well method. It's just 3 to 4 components that you just rotate. One night it could be steak, air fried potatoes, air fried chips with Peronaise sauce and a side of broccoli. The next night it could be spaghetti bolognese. It's following the same approach. What am I eating? How am I eating? I'm going to be structured. It's not cheese toasty for evening meal one night, and then a Caesar salad the next, and then a fish pie the next night, and then 6 bags of crisps the next night. It's not that. You have flexibility because you'll get bored eating the same stuff every day. But you know how to be flexible and structured at the same time. This is an element of the flow state. Hunger, again, I mentioned it before. Listen to your body. There's a difference between emotional hunger and actual hunger. You'll know what I'm talking about, right? Where you've overate and you look back at it and go, why did I eat that? I wasn't hungry. I already had my tea. Yeah, you weren't hungry. If you ate a few hours ago or you ate before, you're not hungry. You're emotionally hungry. What's underneath the hunger? Actual hunger is like looking at it and you're like, right, my belly's grumbling. I ate 6 hours ago. I only had a salad for lunch. I finished my work now. It's been hours since I've ate. Right, of course I'm thinking about food. Of course I'm hungry. But if you're just like, well, I've ate my tea, I've had my meal, I'm just sitting here, just, waiting for my day to end, waiting to go to bed, and I start to feel a bit lonely, and I'm worried about tomorrow, and, I'm a bit anxious about this, and a bit worried about that. Oh, now I can't stop thinking about food. It's not actual hunger. It's not physiological hunger. It's something underneath. So really practice that over this Christmas period. If the thought of, I could just eat this comes in, if you're hungry and you're genuinely hungry, give yourself permission to eat it. If you're not and you just know you're looking for a little bit of a pick-me-up, ask yourself. Doesn't mean you don't eat it, but ask yourself, what am I really hungry for right now? That can be a game-changing question. What am I really hungry for? Do I want this extra box of chocolates? I've already ate one this week. What am I hungry for? Well, I haven't listened to what Sam said on the Zoom call. I haven't really spoken to anyone in a week. I've sat and watched Netflix for 3 days on my own in the house. I'm lonely. I'm isolated. I'm longing for connection, but I'm not getting it. That's why I'm thinking about the food. Again, if you've read my book or if you've bought my book and you haven't read it, right, there's my nudge to read it. But if you've read my book, you'll know I talk about the 7 voids. 7 voids of disconnection. This is what drives emotional hunger. You're not malnourished. You're emotionally malnourished. You're not hungry. You're looking for comfort from food. So if you find yourself thinking about food or recognizing the food noise is strong, that qualifying question can definitely give you a heads up on right, how should I handle this? Like I say, it goes without saying, if you've not ate all day and you're starting to think about chocolates and all the biscuits and all the crisps, of course, you're actually hungry. When you're hungry, you're going to be impulsive. Your body just wants something fast. Your body doesn't want to cook and chop vegetables and wait for the air fryer to ping. And it doesn't want to do that. It's like, give me nutrients now. So it thinks of the easiest, quickest, tastiest things, of course. That would be actual hunger. And you manage that through eating properly throughout the day with a rhythm that works. So when you get to the end of the day, you're hungry for a meal, but you're not starving hungry. First line of defense against overeating is make sure that you're not undereating. But if it's definitely not that, and you're like, well, I've ate adequately, I shouldn't be hungry, but I'm thinking about food. Oh my God, don't shame yourself in that moment because that just drives more hunger. But check in with yourself and ask that qualifying question. Am I emotionally hungry or am I actually hungry? Think about when you're more likely to need food as well. I said it before during my little explanation of the rhythm. I know I am more hungry on a night time. I just know I always was. And if I was likely to emotionally eat when I was stuck in the cycle, like I get into the first chapter of my book back in the day, I wasn't overeating during the day or on a morning. I had a fairly healthy, or so I thought, relationship with food. It was when the door closed on a night time and when I felt alone and when the lights were out. That's when I started thinking about food. It was an emotional distraction from anxiety and feelings of rejection and some other stuff for me. It wasn't actual hunger. But in that moment, if you're not aware of that, because I get this all the time, I might send an email out and be like, hey, could you tell me what your biggest struggle is with the food? And say, oh, I'm just hungry all the time, Sam. I can't stop eating. I feel like I'm really greedy. And I'm like, when someone replies like that, I know that's not what it really is. But convincing them that that's not what it is a different kettle of fish. It's a different story. So that qualifying question, is it hunger or is it emotional hunger? When am I more likely to be hungry? Factor in an eating window then. And if I knew I was more likely to overeat on a night time, the best thing I ever did is kind of not eat as much during the first window of the day because I found out myself I wasn't even hungry anyway. So I could almost write it out a little bit. And then I ate more on a night time, which is when I would normally want to emotionally eat. And that's like the placebo effect. So if you know you're more likely to graze and pick on a night time, be strategic with when you allocate those eating windows. Yeah. Triggers. Be very aware of your triggers over Christmas. I said about creating a strategy. And right at the start, I said, are you planning to have a good Christmas? Okay. A part of planning to have a good Christmas doesn't just mean get clear of all the fun stuff and all the enjoyments. It means get clear of what could trigger you as well. It's the part of Christmas that people don't like to think about. It can be very triggering. Think environment, think people, think places, think conversations. Can you eat before these triggers might happen? Can you make sure you're not going into these triggers already hungry, already starving, already impulsive, already likely to overindulge? Can you almost rehearse in your mind if I mentioned that word environment, people, places over Christmas and someone's immediately came on your mind, you're like, oh God, I forgot about that. That's definitely something that's triggered me in the past. I'm not looking forward to this part of Christmas. And without revealing confidential things, I've already had conversations with clients on my program about this very thing already. Family members that they don't get on with, all that sort of stuff. I get it. Right. Can you prepare yourself in advance? I'm very likely to be triggered by these people. Food could be a thing that I use to soothe while I'm triggered by these people. So what attitude do I need to have going into that? What do I need to be ready for? What are my reactions going to be? Can I already rehearse in my mind about how they might trigger me? And if I know what I know about that, how would I respond to it? So get very, very clear on your triggers this Christmas as well. That will help. Let's not just rely on willpower this Christmas. Right? Let's say you do everything right up until this point. I know I've been talking an hour, but let's say you do everything right and you follow every strategy I've laid out. And then all of a sudden some, arsehole uncle who you don't like to see comes and makes a comment on your weight or something. I can't tell you how many Christmases I've had, right, again, without revealing confidential stuff, because it wouldn't be right to my family members, where we've had family members end up arguing over stupid comments like that. I can't tell you how many. So many Christmases ruined by comments like that. Oh, you should be eating that. Oh, you know that you've gained weight this year. What? It's like, what the fuck are you saying that for? Not necessarily to me. I've just witnessed that in my family. Not good. So maybe you've got the uncle who likes to say things like that. Maybe you've got an elderly parent who you feel is very judgmental and critical of how you look and how you eat. Right. Prepare for that. Like already trigger yourself in your own mind now in advance and go, right, if I was in that situation, how would I handle it? So you're not took by surprise. I know this is not nice to think about, but it does help. Can you use food for comfort in a controlled way? That's another question as well. If you're like, oh, this is an environment where I'm likely to eat, okay, can I use it in a controlled way? Right, go into the occasion where I've already ate before, so I'm not super duper hungry, and maybe have a plan about, right, I'll eat this, I'll say yes to that, but I'll definitely not have that, and I'll have it, and I might be drinking soft drinks instead of alcoholic drinks. Have a plan to indulge, not just eat, but indulge in a controlled way. Have a bit of a plan. Maybe that could be, well, I like to have a few drinks. I like to get merry over Christmas. But a cocktail at like 300 calories versus, or eggnog, that's a Christmas drink that's high in calories, versus a slimline gin and tonic or a vodka diet mixer or a light beer. You could be saving hundreds, if not thousands of calories on having a few drinks over the Christmas. Can you soothe and use food and alcohol for comfort in a controlled way? Your eating structure, different for everyone, but it needs to match your schedule. So I can't tell you what your schedule is going to be and how your eating structure is going to be. But you should have done that calculation at the start where you were like, right, I know the percentage of those days. I know roughly what those occasions are going to be. I've got a bit of a plan, even if it's just a bit of a mental framework. Be willing to adapt, be willing to pivot. But what this will do will allow you to match the likelihood of what you eat to your schedule that you're pre-prepared. It'll reduce food focus. It'll lessen the likelihood of emotional eating, and it'll lower overwhelm by creating clarity. If you don't do these things, what you'll find over Christmas will be not using food at the right times, either going large periods of times without eating and then overeating when you don't want to. It'll obviously, eating is not going to match your day-to-day life right now, so it's about changing that rhythm based off the Christmas schedule that you should have already planned. If you don't know what you're eating and how you're eating, you don't know what your occasions look like, you're more likely to overindulge. And if you go into it already worried about the food, you're more likely to have a high food focus. So could your current beliefs, kind of getting to the end now, guys, could your current limiting beliefs around food or your body be causing you to binge eat? Could you be going into Christmas already worried about what the arsehole uncle's going to say about how you fit in that dress? Or could you already be worried about a parent who, hardly eats because they restrict and they have an unhealthy relationship with food is going to pass a comment on your eating habits? Like, could your beliefs around how you should eat and how you should be around people and the people pleasing and how you should look and what clothes you should wear and what you should have on your plate, could all these things be causing stress? And could you already be taking these beliefs into your Christmas? And could this be increasing the likelihood of overeating? So I really want you to just sit down while you've got the chance to think about it before the Christmas madness starts pretty much next week. A lot of people will be breaking up from work this Friday and they'll not be going back until January. So next week, the Christmas madness is going to start. This weekend, the madness is going to start for many people. So I want you to be very careful of what beliefs that you have around your body, your weight, worthiness. So many of my clients I speak to are like, I only feel good enough if I weigh a certain amount. And if I don't weigh that, then I'm not good enough. Right. Could all of these beliefs be clouding your ability to relax and enjoy Christmas this year? I really want you to get clear of those beliefs. Ask yourself if they're really true. Ask yourself how you can replace them with new and better beliefs that you can go into this Christmas. So the pleasure eating process this Christmas, we want to aim for. This is very idealistic. I know you're going to listen to this and be like, oh my God, Sam, like if only if it was that easy. I get it, right? I get it. But what we're trying to be aiming for is an absence of guilt and shame this Christmas. You'll be able to do that by having the healthy boundary with yourself and the logical approach to eating that we laid out right at the start. If you joined us late, I'll make sure I get you the replay so you'll know what I'm talking about. But if you figure out that number, that percentage of when you are overindulging this Christmas versus when it's just a normal day in December, it'll give you a bit more clarity. Have a healthy, logical approach to when you are going to, quote unquote, overeat. Don't be ruled by eating healthy either. It's not about eating healthy. It's about being authentic and enjoying Christmas for what it is, a very pleasurable experience, where you eat food that you normally wouldn't eat in a normal day of the year. It's about that. So don't be ruled by eating healthy like I did in 2017, where I ruined my entire Christmas. Apply powerful questions rather than impulse. So these powerful questions could be, like I said before, am I really hungry or am I just looking for comfort? It could be halfway through your meal and you're like, God, the serving size is absolutely massive. Do I really need to finish the plate right now or have I had enough? Just little things, powerful questions that can get you to catch yourself in that moment and be like, right, what am I actually thinking and feeling here? The best thing to do is slow down, really slow down. So plan to enjoy your food in advance and be okay with quote unquote overeating that day. Because remember, it's not food that you're having on top of what you already eat. It's instead of. Those chocolates that you're going to have, that's instead of your morning protein shake, right? The Christmas lunch that you're going to have, that's instead of your sandwich and crisps at work. It's not on top of, it's instead of. So it's not as high as you think if we apply it like that. Still honour and nourish the body outside of these occasions, though. So if you've got your day where you're like, yeah, that's my number that we worked out at the start, I know when I'm overindulging. On the days where you don't have any plans over Christmas, do not, and I repeat, do not just sit in the house and stew and fester and ruminate and worry and think about work and think about all your problems and isolate. Don't do that. Honour and nourish your body outside of those occasions in other ways that you would normally. Really focus on self-care. Maybe focus on decluttering in the house. Get rid of some extra stuff so you can enter January a little bit lighter emotionally because there's not as much clutter. Meet your friends. Do things that you can't do when you're at work. Make the most of your time off. Nourish your mind, nourish your body, nourish your soul. And that includes when you get the opportunity, like, right, it's the 27th, I've had 2 or 3 days of eating all the Christmas food. I don't have a plan until New Year's Eve. I've got a party coming up. I'm going to get back on track for 3 days, just for 3 days. And I'm going to give myself permission to eat a vegetable that wasn't covered in bacon, just for 2 or 3 days. Why would I want to prolong that? I love the taste of a vegetable on the 27th and fruit on the 27th because I ain't eating any vegetables and fruit on Christmas Day, I tell you that. Apart from the ones on my Christmas dinner, I guess. So be okay with honouring and nourishing your body, even if it's just like for a day. If you're like, Sam, well, I've got like literally every day planned over the Christmas week. I've only got one day where I don't have any plans. Okay, if that's the day where you just take a step back, do some self-care, nourish your body, eat healthier food that day, get some vitamins and minerals in, hey, it's a pattern interrupt. Better than nothing. It will allow you to actually enjoy Christmas. Final tips for a limitless Christmas. Whatever you do, do not, and I'm going to swear here, fucking weigh yourself at all. If you've ate more carbs and more Christmas food than you normally would on a normal day, of course your weight is going to go up. It is water weight though. Even in a week of overeating, right? It's minuscule amounts of body fat you've gained. Body fat starts to be gained after continuous weeks of eating. You can't really gain that much body fat in 5 or 6 days, I'm telling you now. But what you will gain is probably a lot of water due to the sodium and the salty foods and all that sort of stuff. Digestion as well. You're going to have a water weight gain. So one thing that I've worked with people before, they're like, oh, Sam, I thought I actually did well. And I jumped on the scale on Boxing Day and I was like 5 pounds heavier. And I was like, try not to be morbid. And I was like, did you go to the toilet? And I don't mean for a wee. Well, no. I'm like, right, that's 5 pounds of Christmas food you've got inside you. Let's just chill out a little bit. Don't weigh yourself, guys. Just take the week off. Don't weigh yourself. Don't do it. It's going to be heavier. And that doesn't mean that you failed and that you've put on body fat. Because if weighing yourself on Christmas Day or Christmas morning or Christmas evening or whatever, Boxing Day, New Year's, if that is enough for you to go, oh my God, I've ruined it, and then that's enough for you to get in a self-pity party of more emotional eating, then you're doing more damage than it's worth. Don't weigh yourself, right? I think you should weigh yourself after you've had maybe 1 or 2 days eating normally again, because any extra water weight that's been held, any extra digestive stress, because let's be honest, I'm going to be stressing out my digestive system on Christmas Day. You better believe it. I'm going to be eating all the nice rich foods, the deli meats, the little fancy stuff, the profiteroles or whatever they are. That's going to stress my stomach out. I'm not used to eating like that. It's going to be the same for you. You're going to hold water weight. Your bathroom habits, without getting too morbid, are probably going to be a little bit different consistency, different routine, right? Because you're eating food that you normally wouldn't. Don't be silly enough to weigh yourself, guys. I cannot. That's me being nice there. Don't be silly enough to weigh yourself. That's me putting it nicely. What I really want to say is, you can probably imagine. Yeah? Right. Chat box and question time. I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I don't need to share it now. Now's the time to fire some stuff at me. Let's have a look at the chat box. Sandra, I can't find myself guilty of this time, so I can get stuck in the mud too, but I know, okay, that's a response to a question. H, Sam and I talked about this exactly a couple of weeks ago. It's called revenge bedtime procrastination. Right, okay. If you haven't felt fulfilled enough, you're more likely to delay going to bed. If you Google this now, you'll find it. It's called revenge procrastination. Revenge procrastination. Yeah. And that means if you haven't felt fulfilled enough that day, you're like, well, why would I go to bed? It's almost like an act of rebellion. So in order for the nervous system to actually feel settled on a night time, I always get these two mixed up, but there's the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. I think you need to activate the parasympathetic nervous system to start to feel relaxed, right? So in order to start to feel relaxed and release the hormones and the endorphins that you need to, go pee time, yeah, you've got to feel fulfilled with your day. If you haven't felt fulfilled, then chemicals and endorphins haven't been released, and that's why you get that restless energy on a night time. Where you're like, I don't want to go to bed. You might be physically tired, but your mind's still whirring. You know what I'm talking about? That state? That means you haven't been fulfilled enough. It's like a dopamine box hasn't been tipped on your brain. We release dopamine when we accomplish a task, when we do something meaningful, when we tick something off. The very act of seeing a little to-do list and going tick, tick, tick. Wow, I've done everything. Boom, dopamine's been released. That's why I like to do an evening journal prompt. Like you guys probably know what I'm talking about. Do an evening prompt, see, right, what's been the biggest wins of the day. Take you 30 seconds to go, boom, boom, boom. All right, yeah, cool, great. That is actually release of dopamine, which allows the nervous system to swap over into the parasympathetic. I think I could be getting them two mixed up. And that, if it had a voice, it would basically be saying, Good, you've had a good day, chill out now. If that hasn't been done, you're like, oh, I just didn't do what I wanted, or all the tasks that you did was for everyone else, and you're just a bit unfulfilled, you haven't ticked that box. So your brain's just like, ooh, you're more likely to procrastinate going to bed. So this is why I said have a loose routine during the Christmas. Still do something that gives you a sense of accomplishment. Even if it's like I read 10 pages of my book, I watched a video, I went for a walk, tidied up a little bit. I got some jobs done that I normally would have put off, even if it's that. Yeah, revenge procrastination. Joe, I had 2 holidays, didn't overeat and enjoyed what I had, but wobbled a bit on the return, and then I used to still be go. Yeah, didn't wobble at all, Joe. I'll just be honest, Joe won't mind. She went on holiday for like 2 weeks and on a few occasions, right? She gained £3. I said, Joe, that's like £3 of water weight, right? 2 weeks of being back to where you were, that's £3 a week, probably less. Okay, so that's not a lot, that's just your indulgence on holiday, which you normally did. You weighed in and you got a little bit heavier. It's all good. I bet someone's gained £30 off holiday before. I know I have, because I binged every day compulsively. £3 is nothing. Like, well, I'll be morbid. You go out right now and don't eat for a week and be half as light as that, all right? So it's not a lot, right? Jane, I put my chocolates in the fridge as I like chocolate cold, plus it takes longer to eat. That's a good little hack. Becky, I'm definitely impulsive when I'm hungry. Me too. There's an actual scientific, I can't remember what it's called, it eludes me, but there is a scientific definition of when you're more tired, so when your energy's low, your impulsivity is higher. Not just with food, with everything. So the more tired you are, the more impulsive you are. It's something to do with like the brain's hardwiring of the path of least resistance. Like when we're already tired and drained, your brain just wants to solve a problem and close a loop as fast as possible. So how this translates to food is like, well, why would I chop vegetables up and cook? And why would I wait for the oven to finish when I can just put this in my mouth right now? So yes, tiredness increases impulsivity. Yeah. Sarah Jane, prepping for triggers is very useful. Yeah. So remember what I said, environments, people, big one around Christmas, places. If you're aware of certain places, people, and environments where you're like, I notice feeling a little bit triggered in those environments, and I tend to overdo it. If you're aware of that before you go into it, you're going to check your energy before you come in. You can almost rehearse, right, what do I need to do if that comes up? Don't just go into it blindly and then be caught by surprise. Like, oh my God, when you're caught by surprise, it should be a visceral reaction. That drop of adrenaline, that drop of cortisol, now you're in your own head and now you're looking to escape. If you're already aware, this might trigger me. If it did, what would I do to handle it? That helps, doesn't it? Helga, I'm on my own all over Christmas, but Boxing Day, going to youngest daughter and having her partner, planning to just be me and do normal things. Hey, if that's what can give you the most enjoyment, great. Send any advice about a fixed time to end the occasions? For me, that would be the 4th of January. Is this too late? I mean, I don't know, but normally this depends on when Christmas falls. I can't remember when it does. So Christmas is on a, right, I can see that being a problem. So Christmas is on a Thursday this year. So if we look at that from that perspective, let's say that New Year's is a January the 1st, right? With it being a Thursday and then the weekend's coming up, I can totally see how people extend the festivities a little bit. There's no right or wrong thing, okay? It depends what you feel most comfortable with, right? How would you normally eat on a weekend? Like, how would you normally eat on a weekend outside of Christmas? I would certainly be looking on the 4th at the very latest to be like, right, I need to be getting back in routine because the 5th of January tomorrow and it's Monday. And I'm just going to be frank here. If you still think Christmas morning on the 5th of January, take the piss a little bit. You're one of the wise men. What day did they come on? 6th of January or something? You're not one of the wise men, right? You're a very wise woman, but you're not one of the wise men, all right? Yeah, nip it in the bud, right? 4th of January is definitely the cut-off point, but I can say, because of where it falls, good point that, yeah. Have a plan for those days. So extend it. So don't just think, Christmas is up until January the 1st and that's it. You're right. It's not. Many people won't be going back to work till the 5th. So you're going to have to extend that by default. So let's say there's not 31 days in December. There's 31 plus the extra 4. So work out your percentages, figure it out. Maybe you've got some plans. A big line of defense against this would be not buy so much Christmas food that by the 4th of January you've still got those left. Really pay attention to that. I was talking to Jane, who's on this call earlier on the week. She made a good point. Just don't buy more than we need. So many people, like my mum's terrible. She used to be. She's had Christmas cupboard. It'll be full in December. It'll be full in September. Buy far too much stuff. So if you haven't got all of your Christmas shopping yet, really take an honest inventory about how much am I really going to eat? How much do I really need? Because there's just an absolute abundance of food left over. You're very likely to continue on well into January if it's there. So really think hard about how much you need to enjoy it and then say, you know what, by the 1st of January, I want to be pretty much like all Christmas food out. Let's really try that. That's a good point, Sam. That makes a lot of sense. And thank you very much, Sam. Thank you, Janet. Thank you for coming. Yeah, Sam, on the days I give myself permission to enjoy things, I wouldn't usually. Should I still track? No. I don't want anyone tracking on these occasions over Christmas. No. Don't do that. There's a time and place for that. Permission, fully dip out, okay? Fully dip out. Maybe in the days in between, you'd be like, right, I want to have a normal day of eating. 3 days before the next occasion. I would like to be back in a deficit day, or at least a maintenance, so I could definitely track. In between that, if that's what you mean, yes. But don't be like, oh, that Christmas day, how much have I roughly had? I don't want you doing that. I want you to actually practice being in your body. Be very slow with when you eat, and you utilize that. When I made that joke, be like, authentic eating is the tantric sex of eating, right? That's what I want you to be like. How does this feel? I'm going to be really slow. I'm not going to rush. I'm going to take my time, Go full of that. I want you to practice that, not like, oh, how many calories is in my Christmas dinner? Have a thing. I don't like that. I think that's adding an extra layer of pressure that doesn't need to be there. Just my personal opinion. But on the days outside of that, it wouldn't be harmful to just be aware of what you're eating, would it? Suzanne, this is very helpful. Some really practical advice. Thank you, Suzanne. Really appreciate that. Joe, buying too much stuff is a good one. Yeah, like I said, we're all buy too much stuff, far too much stuff. Be very aware of that as well. Sandra, I'm working with a PT. He's checking my weight periodically, saying as long as I haven't gone over the last weigh-in. Well, yeah, you've got to be checking. I'm not a fan of checking in every day, and it's a very healthy relationship with the scale. I recommend for people who struggle with maybe scale weight, maybe twice monthly. It helps you just understand the fluctuations, but everyone's different. I wouldn't be weighing yourself in between Christmas and New Year, right? It's just, that's silly. You know you're going to be probably higher than where you were because you ate extra food. Doesn't mean you gain body fat though. You can't gain body fat in 3 or 4 days. You can't. It's actually physiologically impossible. Keep reminding yourself of that. But you definitely can't get on the scale and be like 5, 6 pounds heavier because you've got a stomach full of indigested food. If you eat more carbs, think of the salty food as well. Sodium makes you retain water. So it's good for you, but it does impact your electrolyte levels. Don't weigh in after a couple of days of having Christmas food. It's not wise. Jane, I threw away food so much last year as I was fed up with looking at it. Give it away. I'm sure there's food banks, and if you are one of those families where you get loads of chocolate gifts and this and that, you're like, God, it's far too much. Be authentic with your eating, but do a bit for charity as well. Give it away. Not just pass it on. I recycle a lot of Christmas gifts. Yeah, I really do. I don't need 3 boxes of heroes. I'm quite happy with one, to be honest. I don't need 3. I will just pick at them. I was actually really good last year. What helped me is putting them under the sofa. We still had a selection box under the sofa in January. I was quite proud of that. But if you've got an absolute abundance, just use the logic of applying. Right? Do I need 53 boxes of chocolates? No, I don't. Right? Let's give away half of them. Obviously I'm being silly. So love the photos. This was very useful. Yeah, did you like them photos? Yeah. I literally wasted 2 hours doing that. Why did I do that? But I did. Yeah. Right then, that is my Christmas workshop. Like I said, nothing was extreme. Nothing was like, oh, that's a really sophisticated stuff. It's not, because the simplest stuff is the stuff that works. Obviously, if you wanted to go more in depth about emotional eating on it from a trauma perspective, how that impacts you on a personal level, the 7 voids. I recommend starting with my book if you haven't read it already. Start with my book, get yourself a copy. If you did want to know more about becoming, if there's a few people here who know that are watching the replay, who are not actual clients of mine right now, if you did want to know what it's like to work with me one-to-one and join this amazing group, definitely reach out and give me a message. But for anyone who's watching the live or the replay, apply these strategies for Christmas, and you can't go wrong. No pressure. I want people to take the pressure off. I want people to be slow. I want people to be authentic. I want you to dip into these occasions, enjoy them for what they are, and then dip out. It doesn't have to be this right. Well, it's Friday the 18th. I'm not back to work until the 5th. Right, 2.5 weeks of just eating crap. Don't do that. You will regret it, and you won't even enjoy it as much. Too much of a nice thing becomes a bad thing. I love the taste of chocolate. You know what? If I have it, I don't really want it again. For a couple of days at least. It doesn't even enter my mind. Very rarely have chocolate now, but if I did, I would have some. I'd be like, yeah, that's my chocolate fix until at least like next weekend or something when I have a chocolate biscuit. But it's an everyday thing. It's not about the taste and the pleasure. It's more about escaping your mind. I know I made a bit of a joke about it, but that's why I said that this authentic eating is the tantric sex of eating, right? It's just slowing everything down and doing it for the sake of pleasure, not to escape pain, not to rush, not to get it over with. Apply that to your eating this Christmas. You're more than capable of doing it. Okay, I think I've covered every potential strategy there, so I'm going to let you guys go. It's into 8, so we've been over an hour. I'll let you go, so yeah, I appreciate it. For you guys who are on the program, I'll be doing the normal Mindset Monday next Monday, and that'll be our last one before the Christmas, all right? Q&A as normal this Friday as well. That'll be the last Q&A before the Christmas. So it's a normal week until Monday pretty much, and then I'm doing about half a day on the 23rd, and then I'm taking a few days off. Okay, so just a normal week. So you who've got calls with me, great. We'll be touching base on them. We'll be back here next Monday as normal. Yeah, fantastic stuff. Right, guys, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for the people who joined us and some guests as well. It's great to have you here. And yeah, I will touch base with you all very soon. So Monday's done. Adios, amigos. See you next time.